And a great big hey howdy hey everybody, welcome to Animanic with Auzi, where we basically talk about any piece of media as long as it's animated. Now tonight we're going to be doing a live commentary of the 1941 classic Disney feature Fantasia, which unlike what I just said does feature some live action segments, but very few. Very, very few. So, yeah. Cutthroat, awesome. I believe you might have shown up for like a Cuphead stream or something like that. Maybe Shantae? Because, yes, I have seen you around. It's just been a while. It has been a while. But welcome back. And since we're going to be starting a movie, grab your snacks and we can begin very soon. Now, just a little foreword. I'm watching this via home media release. So, if you want to watch along with the movie, follow the blurry images on screen and try to match them and sync them up on your end with either your own home video copy, or you can find this title on Disney Plus. Actually, I wanted to make certain of that. So let me I mean, it's so unlikely that it wouldn't be, but it's always worth checking. Yes, you can watch Fantasia on Disney Plus. So we're gonna go ahead and get started here in just a minute. And all right, everybody, we're gonna start our videos in 3, 2, 1. Fantasia. Okay. Okay. This is all just the orchestra getting set up, so. They're walking. They're walking, they're walking, they're walking. The concert feature, everybody! Okay. Let's see, that's interesting, right there. Yeah, so you are, yeah. Though I do wonder why the Disney Plus version opens up with a disclaimer. I suppose that might be worth looking into. Well, for the moment, we're gonna watch this as I have it right now. Let's see. They're all getting ready. Is our maestro come up? Yes, he is. Thank you, Dean Taylor. Oh, yeah? Yep. Yeah, fair enough. but I suppose we'll find out. Nice to see you, Michaela. I guess we'll have to talk about that some other time because this is a commentary on the Fantasia movie. But yes, I've seen it. I mean, this isn't even animation yet. It's just creative lighting. Leopold. I think we're getting much closer to some actual animation in this movie. In this animated picture. Well, it's just the point. Like, I think we're finally gonna get some abstractions here. You know, I do wonder about, like, why this movie didn't succeed. And you can make the argument that this is really an art house film in animated form. It's like, it's art for its own sake. There's no narrative structure. There's very little comedy, especially going into it here. None of the typical Disney staples yet. Imagine this movie did much better on re-release. But would people have rather just watched the Mickey Mouse cartoon and then been done with it? Oh God, we're not done. There's been... So, are we gonna get some animation in this animated movie? Hello? All right. Well. I mean, this has got to be cheaper than animation, right? It's just... let's just stand these guys in front of a camera and throw some bright lights on them and make them look super interesting that way. Oh God, are we... Oh, finally, some animation. Is this kind of abstraction that you would kind of hope for early on? Yeah, right? Like, come on. We could have had some animation in this movie much earlier. There's something to be said for this dreamlike scape here. And the paintings of these clouds being very, very nice. Okay, now this is fun right here. Again, probably like a art house film, you know, it's like, it starts off kind of slow, but then it starts to pick up. Now we're even further away from musical instruments. Just shapes of color. And we're back to the bow strings. And they're flying around again. There's not really much to say, honestly. There's going to be a lot more to say once we see some character animation, because that's more where my expertise lies, anyway. Like how characters are moving, strike a pose, and okay. Now we're abstracting ripples in the water, that is really nice. And using similar technique as to Monster the Whale's coloring, because you can see the softness of it. I think we're always going to be able to compare like what we see in a given film while we're doing this whole marathon. We're going to be able to do comparisons of how the animation advances compared to the previous movie, because we're watching them basically back to back. A willow tree or a waterfall, kind of up to interpretation. That's really well done. Ooh. Okay, now this is kind of trippy. Tall towers. The tallest towers that you've ever damn seen. Is this what heaven looks like? That's kind of the impression of, oh. Like, did the team of animators working on these bits have to make specific decisions together, or did they make them independently and just said, it's an abstraction, so it'll all fit together? Well, just okay, because I see a lot of similar ideas going through. Like the colors are similar, like these are like the colors they're using here are similar to the circles they were using before. It's not because these colors evoke specific feelings about the song, but it just kind of keeps things relatively congruent, I guess. Now that is very clever. Taking inspiration from the way the conductor moves. Because that might be part of what you see and feel in regards to being in a concert hall and just listening to the music. And scene. Everybody applaud. They did a very good job. Did a great job. Beautiful show. Beautiful show. Well. But the animators will definitely have a lot of fun with it. Of course, we open up with the conductor again. Hey, we paid for Leopold. We're gonna use Leopold. Really going kind of literal with the idea of sugaring fairies, aren't they? But I do like that. Okay, now you can think of this as a precursor to Tinkerbell. Like, even Pinocchio didn't animate magic quite in this way. But the way they're doing the pixie sparkles here, become a big staple of Disney. Because the question always does become, what does magic look like? And you gotta kind of create that idea. And it kind of looks like sugar. Because magic can be sweet. It's so interesting to think about how some of the work being done here to make this look as fun as it does is on the effects animators. Just as I mentioned before, it's an entirely different department. It's an entirely different job. You woke her up. Just dew on all the morning flowers. Ooh. Kaboom. Alright. This could be why. I don't know if I'm reading too much into this, but I'm wondering about the depiction of these mushroom people. All right. I never remembered this being part of the Nutcracker Suite. I guess it was. Always is. I do wonder what I can say about the flowers, except for the fact that certain flowers can be very difficult to draw, and this is really impressive. And now the flowers turn into ladies dancing. That's clever. I wonder if any of this was an influence for some of the animation in the Be Our Guest sequence. Because of the way these flower petals are twirling could be an influence for how they animated the napkins dancing around. And off they go, down the stream. Alright. I don't think we're done yet. We definitely are sticking in some specific location, which is interesting. Like, we start with the fairies putting dew on the flowers, and then the dew lands on some mushroom caps, and then they start dancing, and then whole flower blossoms fall from the trees onto the water, and they start dancing. There needs to be a running theme of water and dance in this whole segment. And then we got fish. I do. The translucence. Can't be easy. All right. Let's, yeah. I wonder. Oh, here we go. This is the part where it gets all raucous. There we go. Bum 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 bum. Dance 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 dance. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Ooh. It's very nice. The morning light. And we're back with the pixies again. And they're all green this time. Oh, wait, nope. Never mind. Okay. The golden hues of autumn rolling in. So neat. It's neat. It's pretty. It's pretty. I just don't have a lot to talk about when it's this just pretty and artistic. Okay. Ooh. It's almost as if even as they fall down, shrivel, turn brown, and die, they still dance. And these guys will swim. Swim! Ah. It's all like a dance. It's very, very nice. Like, okay, it's just nice. Rattle them, rattle them. There we go. Satisfying, very satisfying. Just waiting for the moment when the leaves finally fly off. And now the meadow is becoming more impressionistic or frost covered. Well, now it's going to be frost covered. Ooh, nice. Ah, here we go. It's like the interpretation of dance is done very literally in the whole to be fair, ice fairies have always been a part of some fantasy things. And the thing about how they're doing this is not really hand-drawn animation with these snowflakes. It's actually more equivocal to stop motion. Because they have the physical snowflakes as discs that they're spinning around. Anna? Oh. Oh, lovely. Man, 3 segments in. Uh-huh. You know, could have just let the short speak for itself. Now here we go. This is some classic Disney animation right here. And with our world famous one and only Mr. Michel Mickey Mouse. The sorcerer, with his great power, and he's just constructing a pretty picture. What's really interesting is that this short segment was actually initially conceived of featuring Dopey as the Sorcerer's Apprentice. But somewhere along the line, someone really intelligent thought, well, why not Mickey Mouse? Off he goes. Just love the way they're conveying the size of his cloak by just constantly having his sleeves go over his hands. Oof, flashy. Yep. It's just excellent. Yeah. And as far as the music is concerned, they were able to, the animators were able to have some creativity within its framework, but the framework is there. These motifs that go along with the characters and their actions. Mm-hmm. You have to think about the fact that you have to draw a shadow to go over the background art, but also over Mickey himself when the broom is crossing his path. And this would be the precursor to doing this effect too with Winnie the Pooh later on. conveys a very nice sense of a character having a dream, or in Pooh's case, a nightmare, but we'll get to that when we get to that. And again, I think this is yet another instance of kind of showing the conductor's motions. Because this is how some conductors move their arms when they're conducting big gestures. He's having a good time. I am the greatest sorcerer in the world. Again, doing the ripples of Mickey through the water. And the sense of understanding of where Mickey is doesn't matter because this is just a dream. And yep. You think like, oh, you can put a stop to this? We even have a motif for things getting out of hand. Yeah, one thing they don't tell you about when you enchant objects is that if you didn't disenchant it, the pieces of it are still enchanted. So, yeah. No, I've heard this before. No. And the hat emotes with him, which is really great. It's always fun to see that kind of stuff. As if things couldn't get any worse, he's just thoroughly lost control of the whole situation. Guys, the water is out of your buckets now. So interesting that he just initially it's just so funny to me. It just couldn't get worse than this, probably. Yeah. And to think the animators molded him off of Walt Disney. We're so unfamiliar with what Walt Disney's friendly face looks like. You can kind of get an idea of what his not so friendly face looks like just through this character alone. Yeah. Heh. Yeah. Speaking of Walt, that's Walt. What the hell? Oh wow. Actual applause just dubbed in over. It happens. It depends on who you ask. I mean, the scenario, but Art definitely wrote the... Uh-huh. Uh-huh, yeah, go on. Great. Can we watch it? Okay, great. Can we watch it now? Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Okay, can we watch it? Yes? Uh-huh. No. No! Oh. Oh my god. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah? A chicken. Yeah, uh-huh. Okay. Okay, can we... Oh boy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Tyrannosaurus, can we watch him? Oh my god. Oh my god. Do we? Okay. Yeah. Great. My God, just let me watch it! Okay. This is how your concept film is supposed to work, right? It's called, it was dubbed the concert feature. In other words, you're going to a concert hall to see musicians perform. That was the basis of the idea of the movie. That was the idea of the movie. So why was it not, say, the responsibility of the box office to hand you a program to tell you what music you're gonna hear, and then everything else just carries on itself? He doesn't have to introduce the Rite of Spring. He doesn't have to introduce anything. He really doesn't. Like, what is Dean's job here? It's to basically just give away the whole damn thing and leave very little fun for what exactly we're gonna see. Because, like, what else am I supposed to talk about? You know? He said it. He said everything there is to talk about. Like, I can talk about how well drawn the style of the sorcerers, like, the broomsticks are, because it's like, how do you create such a bright-eyed, like, and bushy-tailed personality with no bright eyes? And you just convey that through the characterization and posing of the thing. It's just, the broom has a lot of fucking personality. For something that is just so autonomous and just meant to do one task, he does it with such joy, you know? Ooh. Okay, that's the sun. I think we're glossing over the sun a little too quickly. Wait, oh. Ooh, never mind. That was cool. Oh, that's still cool. Okay, whoa. Getting hot. What is this nebulous cloud form? Well. Oh. Guys. I think I see the Earth. Oh boy. The VHS of Fantasia 2000 came with a program in the case. That's awesome. That's exactly how it should be. But it's like, if you go to see it at the theater, they gotta hand out programs to everybody. It's like, and you know, they gotta print them all out. Well, all is too calm, so don't get used to it. It's way too calm. Want to come out of the water? No, you can't. The sun is a deadly laser. That's my favorite music about the birth of life on Earth right there. The sun is a deadly laser. Well, and for a minute I thought those were things hitting the Earth, and it'd be like, well, how did the life even manage to survive in the first place? Bum, bum. Okay. They're having a lot of fun here, aren't they? Damn. This is kind of... Okay, this looks like the same coloring methods, or at least style, that they would match in Aladdin when they did a bunch of lava bubbles. Which, again, we'll discuss when we get to that movie. But damn, okay. Having a lot more to talk about than I thought I would in this segment of all segments. Love it. They're all... I love it. They're all in sync with the music. It's great. Okay. Ooh, God. I'm gonna have to fill in that land there. Something to fill that land. Something to fill the land. I can't quite put my finger on what, though. From a trickle to a roar. Okay. That sounds hazardous, squad. That sounds very hazardous. Okay. And Fantasia 2000 would do their own lava-based sequence. Oh, wow. Okay. All right. Oh. Yeah, you know, that's... Yeah. Out of the way! I'm inventing the Grand Canyon! It's just migrating. We see the migration of the great lava stream. Oof. That's gonna be hot. You could boil a lobster in that. Yes, Dean, this is incredibly scientific. You know, if you wanted to interpret it this way, you could kind of see the hand of whatever god you choose to believe just going through, working its way through the storm, you know? Kind of like an artist molding clay, you know? And like an artist, very fickle, and like, no, that's not quite right, and so just tear up that bit and let the volcano do the rest. Guys, it's plankton.
I'll get that Krabby Patty secret formula eventually.
Not if you get eaten first. Oh, they're friends. These two are also friends. And these 8 are friends. Okay, a lot of them are friends. What? I was kind of interested in seeing what was... Oh. Oh, there's a lot more going on. Another smoky transition. Heaven forbid we could come up with an interesting way to see these things change. Now we just gotta cover the whole screen with that, and here we go again. And I feel like there are more interesting ways of doing this. Because these jellyfish, because we kind of saw the precursor to these jellyfish with the translucent fuckers from earlier. We could see one of them transform into one of them. And then a different one transform into a more solid beast by eating more solid things. Oh. Is it safe to come out? Well, it must be safe to come out by now. There's 2 different kind of beasties on screen that we haven't seen before. Which is, we're led to believe here, are all some form of the other things that were down there. Of which I spotted like 2 or 3 initially. Which they're probably assuming was only 1. It really does feel more like... It really does feel more like there has to have been some sort of higher power in charge of all this. You can't just get all these things from one single-celled organism. If you did that, you'd have to be, I don't know, an artist molding a single piece of clay. Again, the metaphor still stands there. I guess we finally stopped with the... Hello, Ryder. That's nice. It's always nice when they do the movement and... Yep. Man, it's not even like the music is setting up the motion. It's like the motion kind of acts as an anticipation for the... yes? There's always a bigger fish. But yeah. No, I can definitely see some sort of god being an artist here in some capacity. To say, I want these things to fly, and I want these things to stay swimming, and I want these things to get up on land. So come on, get over here. We gotta get you on land in order to actually experiment here. Speaking of experiment, hello, interesting flora. We've been at a loss for interesting flora in the midst of interesting fauna. Speaking of which, hello, interesting fauna. What a lazy bum. We saw him crawl out of the water earlier, and now he's just lazing about. It's like, I don't give a shit. The speed at which this goes almost feels like the evolutionary cycle of, like, Pokemon, because it's like, I called that one guy the same as the other guy, when, from a scientific standpoint, it would actually be like hundreds, if not thousands or millions of years before that guy became that guy from the other guy. But yeah. Oh, you're watching Fantasia too? Excellent. Nope, that's mine. No, you can't have it. In here we see the precursor to the emu going to the watering hole. A very flexible neck. Very, very snake-like. Oh, you're playing Digimon. Oh. Or Pokemon. I misinterpreted what you were saying before. Eat it up. Num num. Num num. It's not interesting to see this idea that they were all mostly vegetarians, like Danny Boy said. Or Dean the Mean Machine. Because, like, obviously they had to have been somewhat carnivorous initially. Like these bad boys eating those water bugs there. That's definitely not that's definitely not herbivore. That would be omnivore at minimum. Clever. Clever. Just have the one tail and then the rest of the thing is painted. They blend that really well. It's like, I'm not gonna lie. Oh, hey, Rain. Have you ever seen rain in your life? Ooh. Here comes a horrible beastie. Omnivore at Minimum is the name of my Leopold Stokowski cover orchestra. That didn't make any sense. Should remember the name of the composer for this track. Ooh. They would eventually make their way to the volcano, and their fight would rage on for eternity in the train ride at Disneyland. Like, this is pretty much almost exactly the same as that scene in the Primeval World diorama at Disneyland. The only difference is they're not on a volcano with rolling lava. And also, one of these guys is gonna win and the other's gonna lose. Smart money's on the T-Rex, because, well, he's gonna go for the jugular. And what'd I tell ya? He's a hungry beastie. So, since he actually has a hold of some food, guys, if I were anyone except for the stegosaur here, I would run instead of just gawking. This is why I hate rubberneckers. Yeah, beastie. Hey, anybody else want to become dinner? You might want to move. Seriously, I'm hungry. I might eat another guy after this. Yes, he's large, but like, I'm bigger. Shut up. A drought? Must be California. Seriously? I mean, like, worse than Littlefoot's mother? Because these are animals. So you can grow an attachment to them, but they're not talking. They have the barest minimum of personality. Yeah, they're so thirsty they'll eat mud. Basically what they're doing. Watch the days go by, water flowing underground. Same as it ever was. Sorry guys, migration is probably the name of the... Nope. Sandstorm. Sandstorm is the name of the agenda today. Either sandstorm or this is just the dust billowing from all their stomping and tromping. Which is definitely not gonna help. Uh-oh. Well, you found your water, and now you're sinking in mud. Having fun? Probably not. I'm hungry, and you're also probably full of nice juicy liquid that I can quench my thirst with. Man, that the T-Rex is just gonna collapse over and die really shows how dire things are for these poor mammals. Yep. Oh, we ain't done yet. Okay. And this is a prehistoric interpretation of Death Valley. Emphasis on the death. Oh, that was it. Oh, wait, no, apparently not. Okay, really. I mean, you'd really think. You'd think after a certain point, the sequence would get in, do its job, and then get the fuck out. Okay, what are we animating now? Because kind of at a loss to see what else we could possibly animate. Oh. Right. Never mind. I told you I was busy building a Grand Canyon. Here we go. And here's Pikes Peak. Just for good measure. What do you mean it's not in this state? And not even commentary so much as riffing on it. Oh, ow. Man, if that happened to a lot of the dinosaur skulls, it's a wonder that any of them ended up in museums, huh? And here comes the hand of God saying, yeah, those guys were too stupid to live. Let's try this again. I mean, I suppose so. But I'm only baffled that it's still going. You know, that's where my confusion comes in. It's just still going. It won't stop. Don't quit. No, not yet. Can't stop, won't stop. So... it ain't over until we cut to the live-action footage of Leopold Stokowski, I suppose. Is this the Earth? Is this the Earth? Are we there yet? Please. Just... Hello? Movie. Oh. 15 minutes! Oh, you better fucking not. Okay. Hold the fuck up. No, wait. I didn't okay this intermission. Who ordered this? Wait, no, wait, what? Okay, this also might have driven people away from the movie, right? So people are walking out halfway through the picture. It's like, hold up, wait, no, the movie's not over, wait. We're only an hour in, we got 2 hours of this shit, guys, come on. Wait, don't go. I'm not kidding, I looked at the timestamp. This movie's 2 hours long. Let's hope that has nothing to do with a 15-minute intermission. I mean, yes, shitty. Okay. Oh, God. You'd hope people didn't think the movie was over by now. And then you start the next reel. After the intermission. Thank God. And now we've got to slowly wait for the orchestra to get back to their seats. Great. Because, like, this wouldn't be a problem if I were at a movie theater with an actual 15-minute intermission. Because then I could come back in and see these people sitting down while I'm coming into the theater just then to sit down. People will sit down and stand up and leave and go to the bathroom at their leisure at any concert or movie. Well, you darn well please. Like... Okay, so in the first half we had Toccata and Fugue, Nutcracker, Sorcerer's Apprentice, and the Rite of Spring. Lord willing, we only have like 4 more segments to go, if that. Pardon me. Okay, now this is fun. They're having fun. Oh, God. Oh, would ya? Mm-hmm. Hmm. Beautiful. Yeah. Any sound at all? I'll be back with you guys and Mr. Soundtrack in a moment.
Ian, no bouncing a ball. No bouncing.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh. Hmm. Hmm. Someone had fun with this. Musical fart. Soundtrack's having a lot of fun. Goodbye, soundtrack. Oh. Ah. Here we go. Indeed. My God. My God. Ah! You know, it'd probably be more impressive if we just got to watch it! Again, You have no reason to be doing this! Dean! Dean! I'm having it out with you, Dean! God. Should we release Fantasia back into movie theaters? They should just cut everything that Dean says and replace him with a fucking pamphlet. A program. I didn't know unicorns just faded out of nothing. Now, when someone says My Little Pony, that is Little Pony. And the satyrs and their little dance. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Majestic beast, the Pegasus. You gotta spread those wings out, little man. Poor little guy. You got it now? Well. Here it comes. Little man. Little guy. Just like a duck. Is it migrating season already, or is this the family reunion? And here they come. A Pegasus boat. That's nice. That's a nice idea. And I think Aladdin and Jasmine flew by here once. Yes. Quite a pretty picture. A beautiful sight. Now after the Pegasus. Oh, here they come. Dead up topless. Dead up topless. No considerations otherwise. Just completely topless. Man. Little bonnet. The patience of those birds. Yes, it is. Putting on a show. Trip over yourself. I'm always thinking like they're gonna trip over themselves somehow. Hmm. Hmm. You can definitely see the basis for like saying that a four-legged creature is just like the leg structure of the front two legs is like that of a normal person, because you can see the basis of it here, because they literally have to frame it around the idea of their lower half being not a human half. It's a very interesting way of looking at it. Oh, is he all lonely? Do we find one lone Centaurette who... Oh. Indeed we did. like the matchmakers of Centaur World here. With all the Centaur boys and Centaur girls. Singing and dancing. Half animal, half man things. Yes, Mary, that's the idea. You gotta follow along on your own end with your own copy of the movie. Exactly. Thank you, Ryder. Hey, get them some privacy, folks. Like, seriously. Uh-huh. Bringing the freshest grapes for the wine. Into the bucket they go. Dance, dance. Well, I guess there was no editing these ladies out. On that basis, you may wonder why even edit any of the racist caricature out of the movie. In doing so, they did actually upset some of the timing. Yeah. The lines are flowing. Little abrupt. Well, party's over, guys. Let's go home. She had to get her own legs to giddy up. And yes, along came Zeus indeed. Zeus kind of being an asshole, honestly. And then the winds blow in. And the seas will run red with his wine. No more, I'm tired. So careless. What a dick. Well, he's gone. Ricola. Bring it along. Drink the rainbow. Taste the rainbow. You gotta imagine what the cost of doing all of this was for the studio. Because you aren't just making one entire movie. You're making like 7 or 8 different shorts. My mans, are we gonna draw the curtain of night now? No, is that it? Oh, there we go. Rest easy, everybody.
Night horse.
Imagine her trying to do that when it's a full moon out. It's like, ah, well, shit. Guess I'll have to get the backup bow. Beautiful, beautiful, lovely. Lovely. Oh. Uh-huh. Okay, I'll be right back. I gotta use the bathroom anyway. I didn't miss much, did I? Very lovely. Very lovely. Most exquisite. Flap that bow. Oh, yes. Just being danced by animals. She's having a hard time there. Well, she got it. Yeah. I mean, just like how Tom Lehrer wrote the Elements song to Modern Major General, what's his name? The other guy, I forget his name, but he played the Cat in the Hat in that one cartoon adaptation. But he wrote Helamutta to this song, yeah. Sure, it's like names. Well, it's your fault you dropped the grapes. Very delicate, very dainty. And seeing the way some of the fat folds are being drawn on this character is actually influence for a later oversized character designed by Eric Goldberg, Louis the Gator. Pretty yourself up. Her name being Hyacinth. Later revealed in some extended media. Okay, now that's just silly. Well, duh. There's been a lot of fan art of her for a number of different reasons. But we don't need. But wait, let's not worry about that. You gotta take a nap. Unless we forget, there were elephants in the sequence. Elephants blowing bubbles. Well, don't get too used to it. This is probably going to be the only time this month we'll see it. She's tired. Leave her alone. That's really clever. No, you'll get it. Well, never mind. Light as a feather, stiff as a board. Light as a feather, stiff as a board. Oh, it's about to come crashing down. Oh boy. Here they come. Well, this guy has a red hat. K. Rool's minions. You got it. You got it. There you are. Honestly, you know what this crocodile reminds me of, actually? It reminds me of what Vector from Sonic the Hedgehog is supposed to look like. He's supposed to have a wider upper body, but he's still supposed to be like this skinny little noodle, you know? But when they modeled him in 3D, they made him really beefy, which, I don't know, it just doesn't line up with the appeal of his initial appearance. Here we go. Not that way. You didn't think you could get that far, okay. And here they come again. You'll get it. Indeed. Mm. Schubert. Yes. Uh-huh. Oh boy, here we go. Oh, is that all? Still the shortest introduction yet. Again, at least it was short, you know? And here we go, what everybody remembers this movie for, you know, aside from the hippos and the crocodiles. And this, by far, is, aside from the Sorcerer's Apprentice and the dancing animals, one of the more well-remembered sequences from this movie. And for excellent reason. This, like 10 years before this releases. And then and now this. Like, we're going even further than just haunted graveyard. We're, like, going really macabre. And to say if this, like, if Claude Coates wasn't responsible for any of this, I'd be pretty shocked, because there's a lot of his fingerprints you can see in the Haunted Mansion on some of this. These ghastly spirits. And then there's the ones that move. Apparitions, phantoms. But as they inch closer, oh man. How big you can make one beastie look with a few simple drawing placements. The imps and demons all gather to socialize in some really brilliant form of animation here. Like they don't even care. Like, they don't even care that they're being abused or anything like that. Maybe some moment, some reprieve, something pretty. Of course, this is being created in Satan's hands. And there your demonstration of and just really just taking a hot minute here in his evil. Fire and colors you wouldn't even think. Even a harpy. You know, if there were no other example of Walt Disney having a Christian background, this would probably be the only one you have then. Because you see this whole shtick here with Satan having a fun night, and then it all gets put to rest by the sound of church bells and the Ave Maria. And on a printed perspective, it's it really does raise the question of where did they go first? Did they seek out pieces of music, or did they seek out ideas? Probably pieces of music first. And thought, hey, what could you do with this? And Walt's counterpoint was, okay, but we have to end it, like this. Exactly, squad. For all intents and purposes. As someone else, as someone who was raised in a Christian household, it does have an interesting reflection here of, like, artistically, we're gonna take a minute and, in some bizarre, perverse way, revel in the evil, be horrified and also somewhat intrigued by it. But after all is said and done, no amount of evil can even hope to escape the power of God. Or at least that's how I feel this is being presented. Because what other possible reason would Walt have to even allow this to happen? I wonder. Just that it's artistically pleasing? Sure. Anything twisted, perverse, scary can be entertaining in its own right. But there's always something that it comes down to, and that it's everything ends when the horror is gone. That the villain's defeated, the good triumphs. It is pretty fitting. It is pretty fitting. such an interesting contrast. For the first half, the animators are like, let's let our imaginations run wild. What horrible things can you think of? And then by the end of it, really letting it marinate, letting it sit, and the moment just be what it is. Also, I probably wouldn't stand for this if I had to hike a whole like mountain trail in order to get to church. I think I'd say, yeah, no, thanks, I'll drive. I'll meet you guys at the top of the mountain, okay? Just so nice. It's like something as simple as just a warped piece of glass creates that rippling effect in the reflection. It's great. It's great. I can hear her singing. Is that a sword? Is it a sword? Sword? See the sword? I think Walt Disney and William Hayes would have gotten along. The Hayes Code is probably what even allowed this sequence to be a reality. You can have all the violent and horrible things you want, but you gotta counterbalance that with something wholesome. And of course, don't depict any of it as, pleasant. And it's not. By all accounts, a lot of the imagery on Bald Mountain is ugly. And not that it's badly drawn, but that it's intentionally disgusting to look at. Twisted and nightmarish. I'm only talking about the Night on Bald Mountains part because this really is just kind of just speaks for itself. Especially when you kind of forgot the fact, hey, we're not actually watching any animation. They're just pushing their multiplane camera through a bunch of background art. And we're crossfading the sun rays in. Hello, Blueheart. Came in just at the end. And there it is. That's Fantasia, everybody. That's the end of the movie. That was really it. And okay, so couple of things. That Fantasia 2000 did a lot better than this movie, right? So here's the thing. So in Fantasia 2000, they have an introduction for every single segment, just like this one. But the main difference is that in this one, they kind of Dean, Meanie Deanie, just absolutely wrecks any amount of enjoyment of what you could possibly watch because he just tells you what's gonna happen. It's like, you're gonna see a bunch of abstract pictures First it'll start out with impressions of the orchestra and the conductor, and then will become things like clouds and maybe even landscapes. And then when he's talking about the Sorcerer's Apprentice, he just gives us, he doesn't even give us a synopsis. He gives us a summary of the whole damn thing. You know, up until, like, maybe when Mickey has up the broom, he doesn't mention that part. He mentions that things get out of control, but he doesn't say, like, the wizard helps him in the end. But, like, still, most of the time, he's just telling you exactly what you're gonna see. So it's like, ooh, what a surprise! I totally expected this! But in Fantasia 2000, while it may be obnoxious to some people that they're using a bunch of celebrities, at least the celebrities are talking about something super interesting. What they are talking about is they're talking about, like, they'll briefly describe, here's what you're about to see, like, here's an idea of what you're gonna see, and here's the music that it's set to. And some of the segments introduce, here are some concepts that we wanted to use for this film, but didn't quite work out. So here, but instead we're going to show you a segment based on the Steadfast Tin Soldier set to this music. No more details, just that. That's it. So you just get to embrace the moment, you know? Do I think they should do a third entry for Fantasia? Fuck yes. Walt Disney always wanted to swap out the sequences. He wanted it to be like an ongoing attraction, you know, like Fantasia would re-release, but it would have different segments with different pieces of music, and some things would come back, like the Sorcerer's Apprentice would come back for every version of Fantasia. It was kind of a highlight of the show. So at the end of the day, yes, I definitely think they should do a third one. Not only should they do a third one, but here's a bold strategy. Here's a really bold strategy. During this third version of Fantasia, instead of repeating the Sorcerer's Apprentice like they did for Fantasia 2000, they should repeat the Greek, the Greco-Roman sequence, the mythology sequence with the pasture. Because I think they could definitely do some favors by re-releasing it in its original form, and thus by doing so, allowing the version of Fantasia that is on Disney Plus to be redone to feature all the original animation, because they cut out an incredibly racist black centaurette really, who is basically just a maid, a foot worker. She was working to make some of the centaurettes all pretty and shit. And that moment with the carpet rolling itself out for Bacchus, there's animation of her. That wasn't just a magic carpet. She was the black centaurette was rolling it out. And of course we had a couple of black zebra centaurettes in it that I guess couldn't be edited out. So yeah, for all intents and purposes, they really ought to re-release the movie as it originally was. I feel like it does nobody any favors to edit these things out. It's like, just because it makes you feel squeaky clean about the movie that you're watching. And it's even worse is that, like I said, by cutting her out, there are some shots where she's by herself and gags that she has because of course the character that's basically blackface is there for comedy, were done to parts of the music. So by cutting out her sequences, you upset the timing of the rest of the animation to the music. So kind of weird, not gonna lie. But for all intents and purposes, still pretty good film. Afraid if they did a third one, they'd just use CGI for most of it. Not necessarily. For two reasons. One, they use CGI in parts of Fantasia 2000. You may not have realized it, but like they did. They used it for they used it for the Pines of Rome sequence, and they also used it for that Steadfast Tin Soldier sequence. But again, we'll get into that when we get into that. But there's absolutely no way, shape, or form that Disney would do a new Fantasia and not include some hand-drawn animation. Heck, they might even go a step further. Instead of just including hand-drawn and CGI, maybe they'll include stop-motion. Think of what you could do with a stop-motion Fantasia sequence. But we've already run pretty long for this evening because the movie was pretty long for this evening. So That's gonna be it on Fantasia. Release the original cut. bring back the Centaurette. Bring her back. Just don't pretend it didn't exist, Disney. You did a racism. Just let it sit there. Speaking of racism, next week we're going to be watching Dumbo, so that will definitely have some conversation. And me being a white guy, I'll try to bring something to the conversation. I don't know what I can bring to the conversation, but I'll bring something. So thank you so much for joining me on this movie, and if you're viewing this after the fact, thanks for watching, and until next time, remember to take care, stay safe, and be kind in all that you do. Good night, everybody!